Rimpi Arora. 13 years ago, my journey started as a student activist to academician, now as an advisor on policy and inclusion at Pinaka Media Works, India. As Som mentioned, that I am working recently now on the film Rab Di Awaz. So thank you so for like to introduce me in that way. And now I am delighted to welcome you to our session Pathways Beyond School, Parents and Young Adults with Disabilities, Inspiring Change Together. Today, we will explore what's possible for young people with disabilities after school, that we will come to know through the experiences and insights of those making this change happen. So this panel, as Som has already mentioned, Mark Stoddart from Scotland, Ruth Gasson from Kenya, Taha Haazig from India, and Zinda from Rwanda. So each bring a unique perspective on supporting the youth and family. So let's begin by hearing from our panelists. Let's start with the Mark. Mark, the first question is for you. Please tell us about your journey. What was your pathway beyond school, and what was the biggest challenge you have faced after leaving the school? Over to you, Mark.
I'm Mark Stoddart, and I'm from Scotland, as you say. I'm personally neurodiverse, and I'm a sculptor, designer, author, and I've also created a musical, and I'm a philanthropist. After leaving school, yeah, I struggled, and I think it's fair to say I still struggle to this day. And what I've tried to do is help others through my art for the last 35 years. I've helped numerous charities around the world, and through my art, I've personally funded to build the only neurodiverse school in Eastern Africa, and I've also personally funded to build the only neurodiverse school in Indonesia, and looking at a project in India, and I've also doing work at the moment in Uganda. Primarily what I'm trying to achieve is create an environment for disadvantaged children, and the one in Uganda is, I find it mind-blowing, and to say it's opened my eyes to the level of poverty that is around the world. I've been to numerous parts of the world where there's poverty, but what I'm experiencing at the moment is quite something. I'm also funding teacher training courses using the UFly training manual from Florida University to teach the teachers to identify neurodiverse children. But as I say, if I go back to Uganda, and it's not just Uganda, there's a lot of other places around the world that they have in some of their classrooms over 220 children. Some have even been told with 500 children in one classroom to one teacher. So how on earth do you manage to teach a neurodiverse child or a child with any form of disability? So that is why with Global Lighthouse Studios in America, and we've got one or two other people getting on board. Got a professor in California, and a book that I've done using my story of what I was put through at school. We're turning it into a musical, and the idea behind it is that the children can go through it all and get understanding of a neurodiverse individual, and so it hopefully will give kindness to a neurodiverse or a child with disability, because when you're dealing with places with extreme poverty, I mean, one teacher for about 200 or 300 children in one classroom, my goodness, what can you do with that? But with the musical, hopefully it will then help children with some form of disability. So that's organizations around the world. One of them is the LDA in America, the the Learning Disability Association of America, and as I say, with number of others. So there we go. I'll let somebody else talk.
Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Ruth. Would you like to share your experience? Ruth, are you there?
Yes, I am. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my experience as a parent of a young adult has not come easy. Well, in my country, one of the biggest challenges we face as parents of young adults is the realization that we are getting older, and these young adults need to be taken care of. For instance, in the case of my son, who is nonverbal and needs assistive living, so he needs someone to help him in his daily life. So for parents like myself, the greatest fear is not knowing what will happen when they are old, and we don't have group homes here that can support these children. We come from a community where we believe in having a support system based on our communities, our family and extended family. But in this current generation, this is becoming more and more challenging. So those are some of the challenges we face. But the upside is my son has learned how to do a lot of things on his own amongst the children that I have homeschooled, because we had to look for out of the box way of teaching these children to read, to be able to pursue the things that they are passionate about. I ran a homeschool for specifically for neurodivergence, because it's in my home. I can't be able to have too many children and I will not be able to manage them. So I have small numbers of children. Those who can be integrated back into mainstream, we work, that is the focus, to integrate them back. But you also have learners who will continuously need one-on-one support, like my son.
And my question goes to Taha Haazig. Sir, kindly, would you like to share your experience?
You're now unmuted.
Hi, everybody, and thanks a lot, Dr. Rimpi and my co-panelists. Really wonderful to be here, and great initiative by, all of y'all. Thank you. So just as a brief introduction, I am Rotarian Taha, based currently in the state called Goa, which is in India. Myself, I am a person with 100% blindness. Has been to the education system which is completely inclusive. I was very fortunate enough. I remember my primary education, that's just the kindergartens, which was in a special school. And after that, started the education in a regular setup in the state of Goa itself, wherein we had the primary education, the secondary education, the high secondary, the college, the university. All the education, when you say, and when we talk about inclusive education, how is absolutely wonderful. When we say about people getting education, or people with disability having education in a regular setup, is absolutely a different thing. Uh, when I see world of people around us, uh, it creates a lot of difference. Because of the education, now I know I am a trainer into the assistive technology, currently into the civil services here at the state, heading the Disability Commission as the secretary, and advocating a lot to all the persons with disabilities in regards to their education, in regards to whatever trade and vocation they want to go in regards to whatever profession they want to continue. Whether it may be a setup which is completely exclusive, whether a setup which is inclusive. If I talk about the state of Goa currently, we have a lot of best practices in terms of inclusive education, a concept called resource room, which is now available in many of the mainstream schools, which gives a bridge to students with disability and the regular classes for them to ensure that their education is proper. In regards to various policies, now many of them would be aware that we have got the national education policy also, which is in place. It has to have something which is called as confidence. Education, what gives to everybody of us. My co-panelist, my moderator, everybody will absolutely,
I'm ready to present.
Hello?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yes, please.
Right, perfect. So we
Yeah.
can always, you all will also agree with me that the power of education in the lives of a person with disability is huge. And we as community could, create that change of creating the essence of education in a lot of persons with disabilities. If I see myself or if I see my family, my wife is a person with disability, my child is a person with disability, but I know how it is affecting my child also. My child who is again detected with blindness, but currently studying in a setup which is giving uh, just everything which a regular student requires. What I strongly believe, which I always say, is that we need to go towards changing mindsets. Mindsets are changing, absolutely, but it has to go a long way. People should start understanding that how important
Okay,
a person
okay.
sitting
Thank
in
you
a
so
regular
much.
Okay.
class
You're
is as a
welcome.
student. Yes.
Thank you, Taha. Moving
Yes.
towards Zinda Victor, would you like to share your own experience and the challenges that you faced after the school? Mark, would you like to share, was there any turning point or the decision or opportunity or any person that helped you to move forward when things were not felt in that way? What makes you to move forward?
Sorry, I was just answering some couple of people had asked questions. Sorry about that.
Okay. I'm just asking, was there any moment, was there any person who motivated you to proceed further after the school?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
I had quite troubled education and schooling, and I was put through things that a child should never be put through. And then I got forgotten about and was left at home for about 2.5 years. And last 2.5 years of my education up to about 18 and a half, I went to a school in Sussex down in England in the UK. That's the first dyslexic school ever in the world, called Rotarian College. And when I went there, I had gone into a shell. I wouldn't go on a bus. I lost all my friends, and I really wouldn't talk to anybody. And I had no self-belief. I had no confidence, and I didn't think I would be able to do anything in life. And sadly, my parents thought the same. But the school transformed my life, and the headmaster there and pretty well all the teachers, they looked at life totally different and thought outside the box, and they gave me self-belief and confidence. And through the school, I met a chap there, and his mother was Dutch, but lived up in London, called Nell. And up till 2021 there, she sadly passed away, and she was in her 90s. But she was huge support to me, and she was like a mother to me. And there was no subject you couldn't talk to her about. And she was very, very, very blunt. And I used to exhibit at Chelsea Flower Show and do different things. And she would come along, look at the exhibition stand, and you knew you were going to get a blunt, very blunt response to what she thought about it. But she was always right in everything they discussed. And I can honestly say that between the school and then through college and then Nell, she totally and utterly made me who I am today. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons that I do what I do to help others. Because I was given a chance, I was given a break in life that totally turned my life around. And that's why I built the school out in Indonesia in her memory, because that's where she had come originally from, was Indonesia. And sadly, there was quite a sad backstory to it all, but she was an amazing individual. So the answer to that is yes. You hope that life, you're lucky enough to meet somebody that will turn your life around and believe in you.
Thank you, Mark. It's a beautiful way that you have expressed it. Now I move towards Ruth. Ruth, being a parent, like as Mark has his own challenges, and there are other persons who have motivated him. He mentioned about school and teachers played important role. So, being a parent, what kind of the difficulties you face, and who makes you to keep continue this journey? And would you like to share about how you keep yourself motivated so that it will be a lesson for the other parents how to take forward their child?
Initially, for me, it was very difficult. I was
Yeah.
very young when I had my firstborn, Paul, and I was 24 years old when I had Paul. And I was just in between going to college, so it wasn't easy for the community also where I was from. During our time, we didn't know about what autism is all about. So what happened was that I was very fortunate that my family was very supportive, that including my husband and my sister-in-law, everybody now, we decided to learn what autism is about. So everybody would read a book on a topic on autism, and then we'd have a phone call because we didn't have WhatsApp during that time. There was no video call. So you'd call and even write an email. This is what I've read about this. And that's how I got to learn as much as I could on the topic of autism. Over the years, I immersed myself in purposefully learning as much as I could. And having struggled in school growing up, I found schooling to be very difficult for me. I never wanted that experience to happen to my child. So I've looked for ways, strategies that would help me learn, and that have worked for me. And now I've tried to figure out how best can I support my son Paul to be able to learn things. Yes, he's nonverbal, but he can hear me and he can use his gestures, like I'm using my gestures to talk. So we started from that, and we started off by pointing at pictures, and that gradually helped him also develop his independence. Then, as time passed on, I got to have other students, and those students, I learned that there are different spectrums. There's from mild, severe, moderate, and I learned there's this child who is also nonverbal, but she's super intelligent. And we have to figure out that she knows how to read. So we would sit on the floor and we use letters, and we learned how to spell through using movable letters. We learned how to do numeracy. And by the time she was leaving my home school, she was integrating to a regular school. She was able now to be calculating vectors, something I struggled to do when I was in school. But at 11, she was doing fantastic. So it is, you have to be positive and try and figure out a roundabout way of helping the child to be the best they can. Sometimes the community can be very harsh, especially on parents. And when you're young, it's even, I think, harder because your ability to parent is put to question. There's a lot of beliefs and customs that we have. So they also influence the way our parents will talk to us. You get questions like, is this problem a problem from your husband's side? And the husband is being asked, have you investigated this woman that you are marrying? Do they have people like that in their community? So these are common things for us here. Yeah. I don't know if
Got
that
it. Thank you.
answers, because I can go on and
Yeah, you
on
got it.
other
I
people
got
talk.
I got the answer. Don't worry. I'll compile it at the end. Moving further to Taha Haazig ji. Like you, Taha Haazig, as you are a person with blindness, your wife is also a person with blindness, partial blindness. And your, as you mentioned, your son is also a person with blindness. Sir, what kind of the difficulties or the challenges you were facing, and what keeps you to motivate, and what makes you to this journey continue?
So, Dr. Rimpi, as you rightly said, uh, motivation is a very important factor for, again, all of us to stay encouraged and stay as happy as possible. When I go back to my schooling days, I remember the way my parents have supported. You know, only one sentence they used to always say, "Ki today we are there, we would support." What about the days when we are not there? We need to think about that. And that is a very strong statement, which is still, you know, is the foundation of my whole thinking. Uh, you know, that taught us accepting as what we are. If there's a condition, which is a disability, we should accept it. My wife, as you rightly said, is a person with low vision. Again, acceptance. My son is a low vision currently. Acceptance. So, what our biggest motto for all three of us is accepting ourselves as what we are, trying to understand the positives, trying to understand the limitations, whatever we have, to work on the positives to enhance them, and try to either abolish or run down the limitations, whatever we have. Yes, there are people who come and tell, as Ruth rightly said, you know, that okay, these could be a hereditary, or why this is only to you, or there's the other sect which completely says, okay, if you are a person with disability, why are you doing this? I'm a bureaucrat, but still, till today we get people and say, Kini, if you're sitting in the office, or if you're the head of the department, how are you handling it? Still, people are probably not understanding the power of assistive technology, which we daily do, which the daily sensitization works. So when I sum up your question, number one, acceptance. Number two, sensitizing and telling people, okay, yes, things are possible. We might, our working styles would be different, our approach styles would be different, but yes, guaranteed the results would be almost the same what others have.
Thank you, Taha. Moving to Zinda Victor. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can do without the camera because I can see the
Okay.
camera. It shows me that you cannot start your video because it is
Okay.
disabled by the host. So I
Okay.
think,
We will request the host to enable your video. So you can
okay,
proceed further. Yeah, you can proceed with your answer.
okay.
Yeah.
So we can start. You can start now.
Yeah, you can start now.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, good afternoon. Is it good afternoon to you all? How are you doing?
We are
Yes,
fine,
yes.
Zinda. You need to
Mm,
share your experiences and the
yes,
challenges
yes.
that you faced after the school.
Yes, yes, yes. So,
Yeah. Yes, please.
as our theme says, the pathway is beyond school. Parents and adults, yeah, I've tried to answer the questions posed to us. Uh, my name is Zinda Victor, and I'm Rwandan by nationality. That's where I live. I live in Kigali city, the seat of Rwanda, and I speak from Kigali here. So, to answer the first question, uh, I was infected by polio at a tender age of 1 year, and that was 1969 at the age of 1 year. So that was around between 1968 and 69, and that caused me to move crawling, to move by crawling and a wheelchair when I'm not crawling. So since then, I started a life journey of disability challenges, and I faced uh, different challenges attached to disability, like being denied basic rights, being abused, being laughed at, being mocked, discriminated, and being excluded in its activities that would be uh, involved by children, by other children without disabilities. So after school, uh, the main hardship I faced was finding an employment because wherever I submitted my application for employment, the secretaries or people who are receiving my documents could put them aside, not thinking that a person with disability can has the capacity to do the work. So I was excluded, and that thing irritated me so much to the extent that I even wanted to commit suicide. But I thank God that I didn't commit suicide. Uh, Time came, and I got a job, but I got a job after 2 years of searching, and that was really one of the big things that challenged me because of disability. So that's the answer to the first question, I think.
Yeah, you have answered both the questions, Vinda. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah. So moving to my last question, because we have very less time. And my last
yes,
question is like, what to all the panelists, what would be the one thing or the wish that you, teacher, parent, or family do to make
yes.
sure the transition plan in school actually lead to the real life opportunities afterward? So my question goes to first to Mark. Would you like to answer this question? Then I'll get back to you again. What would you like, or what thing you wish that teacher, parents, or family must do to make sure transition plan in school actually lead to real life opportunities afterwards?
The first word I would use, and the most important word I would use, is kindness. Be kind, because
And
what a teacher, a parent, a grandparent, even if you go into education, if you turn around and, like my last speaker said, you start putting them down and you call them names and you bully them, it can sadly imprint into somebody's mind, and it can stay with them for the rest of their life, and even to the point where they consider suicide. That's the extreme end of the spectrum, but it's amazing what can be done. So the most important one is to be kind. With the schools that I've done, what I've tried to do, and the schools do, is teach the children to have life skills. To teach them different forms of art, and the word art is very, very broad. And how to grow your own crops, how to make your own clothes, and how to wash your own clothes and do things. So give them life skills. And a neurodiverse or dyslexic child, as we read a lot of people over the years who have, they've changed the world. But not everybody wants to do that, and not everybody could cope doing it with the pressures. So if you could just give them the life skills to live happy, normal life, and give them life skills. And the most important word is kindness.
Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Ruth.
It's very hard
Ruth,
to counter what he just said, because it makes me think now, what else can I say other than that? For me,
but being a parent, you have your own experience. Now you have some kind of the things that you want everybody should follow.
Yes, that's true. And kindness is very important.
Yeah.
So I would say treating our children with love, respect, and dignity. And that, of course, Mark has wrapped it up so well when he talks about kindness. When you truly love what you do, when you truly love a child, well, your purpose is to empower an individual as a parent, your own child, as a teacher, as an educator. You need to have patience, you need to be kind, you need to be loving, and to always remember to treat them with dignity. So, yeah, they have feelings just like you and I. This is a child. So support them so that they can realize their dreams. So, yes.
Over to you, Taha, Haazig.
All my answers are already done, Dr. Rimpi.
Yeah, I know you have covered it, that you have mentioned
now,
about acceptance and positivity
but
and please.
absolutely. And ek aakhri cheez, just one thing, adding on to what Mark and Ruth has already said, kindness, dignity. The main thing for me, again, as I said earlier, is mindsets. I believe once the mindsets become inclusive, once the mindsets become accepting, I believe all the kindness, all the dignity comes in place. And we will absolutely achieve it, I'm very sure. But we have to go fast because the time is running. There are a lot of students who are waiting for the empathy, for kindness and everything. So really, really hope we achieve fast. And, people like you all working in the field, I believe, will achieve it very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Ruth, you want to say something? You want to add something?
Yes, I felt it is very important to also say the role of advocacy cannot be understated, because we need to be able to we need to have that thick skin, I must say. It's hard to say, so that I can be able to empower my community to understand what my son is going through, what their child is going through, and that there is importance in educating this individual so that they can realize their life.
Thank you. Zinda, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, my colleagues who have spoken before me. I agree with you to some extent, and I also need to add on something small, but
Yeah.
as they said, kindness is key. But I would also add on motivating the children, the kids, motivate them, tell them that disability is not inability. You can make it, you can do it well. Whatever he or she tries to do, you make sure you motivate the parents or teachers or the communities motivate the child to do more, and to build self-confidence in the child. Because I speak out of my own experience. My dad used to tell me whenever I did something small, he used to praise me that I've done a big thing. But later on, I could realize it was something very small, but he wanted to motivate me to build self-confidence in me. And another thing I would mention lastly is about advocacy. Advocacy, as our sister Ruth has just mentioned, advocacy should be effective through teachers, through parents, through communities, so that the public awareness can be increased. Thank you.
Thank you. It was very interesting, this question. What my takeaway from this discussion is as follow. Like this panel actually, the first thing is this panel is representing 4 different disabilities. Like parents are there, we are getting the experiences from the parents as well as from the persons who themselves have faced the difficulties throughout their journey from school to and afterwards until now. Even today we are facing that kind of the difficulties, so it doesn't matter we have succeeded, but still the stigma is there, which is one of the important factor that has come forward from all the discussion. And stigma and attitude or the behavior that need to be changed, mindset need to be changed. As Mark said, that kindness is important and life skills are important to make the children with disability more productive so that they can contribute towards the economy. Taha Haazig mentioned about that the shift in the mindset is required. Acceptance is also very important. And Ruth has mentioned that treating everyone with respect, dignity, with patient teachers must be patient. And advocacy is one of the important factors she has highlighted, that there is need for advocacy. There is need for creating awareness among the communities, among the society. And last but not least, Zinda mentioned about that kindness is key and disability is not ability. Disability is an ability, not ability, sorry. And he has also highlighted the parents' support. So from the whole discussion, I find that teachers, schools, community, parents, and family played an important role to make us successful in our journey. But the question still is there, how do we create that awareness? What is need to be done? How that advocacy can be done? So in today's time as digital, I am relating it to my study, which I am currently conducting on the field. I find that in today's digital world, social media, storytelling is one of the important way, or through cinema, we can bring that change, or we can do that advocacy to promote inclusiveness. We can promote the representation of people with disability with empathy in society. Thank you everyone for your inputs. I hope the audience has taken away something from all the panelists, that how do they overcome the challenges and what kind of the support they should need after the school. That is very important. Thank you so much. Over to you, Som. I hope we have winded up over on the time. Over to you, Som.
Thank you, Dr. Rimpi. I think you're a bit early.
Bit early? We have time?
According to my schedule, yes. We should have
How many
finished.
minutes
You have
how
about
many minutes?
18 minutes. So
18 minutes or 8 minutes?
18, according to my timing here.
Okay, then am I allowed to open the floor again to go
Yes,
with
yes,
my
yes.
panelists? Yeah, thank you. So now, like we should be having more open discussion that anyone would like to share something or ready to share anything that they want, or should I continue with my research?
Can I say, Dr. Rimpi, something?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So when we talk about education, when we talk about mindsets, I believe we all, and your question is absolutely right, how we should go about creating the change. And when you say about cinema, when you say about storytelling, yes, absolutely a very, very important factor wherein people should be made aware. My personal experience says is one-time sensitization or 10 times sensitization might not be enough. It's a regular
Yes.
process. Sometimes people just get frustrated out of how many times should we say? Now, my personal, daily now, when I sit in the office also, there are some people who come in and are surprised. Some people are, saying, how are you working? Or some people are going praising and doing that. So it's a confusion still. So I believe that continuous process through various platforms, it may be cinema, it may be storytelling, it may be just anything, it may be a normal Instagram message also works. But I believe we all together collectively, through the platform of International Purple Fest, what we have, realized strongly is the more we collaborate, the more we come together, I believe we'll achieve much more. And what we achieve is what then the world sees. So keeping the floor open again, but this was a thought which was missing from my end. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark, you would like to add on?
Victor,
Okay.
also I wanted to add on something.
Yeah, okay, Zinda. Okay, Zinda, please.
Yes. Thank you so much for the additional time. There is something I also need to talk about, is the friendly facilities for people with disabilities at all ages, whether in school, whether at home, whether at work, at all places. So the friendly facilities is also very key, because according to my experience, personal experience, there is where you go and you find a toilet, a washroom is not friendly at all for a person with disabilities, and it degrades, it puts you down, and it makes you feel undeserved, or you feel excluded from that place. Like here in Rwanda, there are so many places, though it has been legally passed that in 2009, the law was passed, not allowing every person putting up a building, especially the public building, without friendly facilities for people with disabilities. But up to now, you find people still build up houses, public houses, like hotels, like schools. You find the children cannot access the classes. Like when I was in university, they had to put my class downstairs, just on the first floor, just because of my disability. But had they put up the facilities, I would also be there up with all the facilities. Again, at home, when I was still at home in my with my parents, there was no there was almost no friendly facility at all, be it washrooms, be it bedrooms. Everything was really a disadvantage to me.
Yeah, I
So the friendly
totally
facilities
agree.
point, yes,
I
the
totally
friendly
agree with you, Zinda. This
yes,
infrastructure inaccessibility is all over the world.
yes,
Every
yes,
institution, whether it is house, it is everywhere. And I think every country has its own laws to, like in India, that in 2060 Rights of Person with Disability Act is there. According to that
yes,
act, that in the like in 2016 it has been launched, and it has been mentioned that within 5 years after the enactment of this law, that every
yes.
institution must be accessible. But now,
Oh,
today, it's 2025 we are, and it is also about to be end. And next year, it is going to be 10 years. Still,
oh,
majority of the institutions are not accessible for person with disabilities. There is
yes,
still need to create that awareness that how much it is important for, not for person with disability, but for everyone. So moving
yes.
on to you, Mark, would you like to share anything else?
Yes, I'd be delighted. The schools that are funded to be built, I very much insisted that they were disability friendly and inclusive, and built ramps and huge big wide doors, and disability toilets and showers. The one in Indonesia, when I went out to see it getting built, they had already started building it, and they hadn't got a wide enough entrance to go in for a wheelchair. They hadn't got ramps to go into. It's got a big auditorium for doing plays, doing conferences, and toilets weren't. So they had to alter it all and alter the build, get the because they said, "Oh, it's not required out in Indonesia." I says, "No, we're working on a worldwide platform, and it's nothing to do with what is okay in this area and what you can get away with. Sorry, it has to be end of story." Uh, but if we go back to the word art, uh, yes, I made a career out of doing sculptures in bronze and in silver and in Scottish gold, and it's called functional art. What I do, turn them into dining room tables and coffee tables and so on. But I'm a firm believer that art can play a huge place in children's lives. And when I use the word art, it's very, very broad. Yes, it can be sculpture. Yes, it can be painting, drawing, pottery, but it's also, you can do, say, designing a garden. It can be designing clothes. It can be designing furniture. It can be an architect. It can be working in AI. It can be doing illustrations. It can be doing computer games. They're all forms of art. So the word art is quite broad. Yes, you can
So,
make a career out of it, but what I personally believe is if you don't do it for career purposes and you do it through schooling, and that's your little world, and that's what makes you happy, and that's yours, and it's what you want to do, and you do it the way you want to do it. Throughout life, we all hit little bumps in the road. Something happens in our life. And whether you do this 10 years, 20 years, 30 years later, and you go back to that, it can be huge to your mental health that that's your little environment and that's what made you happy. And so I'm a firm
so
believer in art, and not necessarily for doing it commercially and for your work and your business, because that becomes a different thing when you're having to just make money from it. But if that's your little world, because
So my
especially
question is,
people with
how much,
disability,
sorry, I am interrupting you. So how much time did you take to learn this skill? So how much it is difficult for the children with dyslexia to learn this skill?
As a broad brush, you usually find dyslexic children have a slant towards the arts. And that's either on stage or it's in television, or, I mean, it's very broad. But when you look at a lot of different artists, quite a lot of them are dyslexic. So it seems to be they can see things in 3D, 4D, they can see it and visualize it and get it and understand it. It seems to be something that's there with the way their brains work.
Yeah. So what advice would you like to give to the future generation if they want to learn this art? What would be your
Well,
message?
with life, it's all about getting little opportunities and getting a break in life. And I appreciate there's also this word called poverty, and it is vast around the world, and the level of poverty. The school in Uganda, I'm personally funding for some of the children to go to school, and I'm helping train the teachers, and through my art, we're going to look at building a classroom block, so on and so on. But some of the kids, I kind of delved into it, and they're not tested, so I don't know if they're definitely neurodiverse. But one of them is very, very good at singing and very, very good at writing. She didn't have a pair of shoes, but always wanted to learn the guitar. So I bought a guitar for her to learn to play a guitar. Another one is really, really good at doing drawings. So I bought her materials for doing drawings. Another one's really good at painting. So I brought, and so on and so on. Yes, I know it's an opportunity that they wouldn't have, especially if they don't have a pair of shoes. They're definitely never going to buy a guitar. The guitar stays at the school because sadly, if it went home, it would get sold.
Thank you.
And I've also paid.
Thank you so much, Mark, for sharing this experience. I hope that those who are watching this summit, they have got an idea that if we make our children to success in their life, what we need. It's the collective support that is through family, through school, colleges, institutions, and community. That is important aspect. Second, we need to create the awareness through storytelling or advocacy so that people would accept us and we can contribute to the society. Thank you, each and everyone, for your wonderful thoughts, and I hope it has helped us to move further. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dr. Rimpi. Thank you so much, and colleagues.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
You're a wonderful
Thank you.
panel
Thank you.
and one very close to our hearts. Thank you, Dr. Rimpi, or should I say double degree, Dr. Rimpi? We are so proud of your achievements. And
thank you to Sonia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you, Taha, Mark, Ruth,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
Zinda.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yes,
everybody.
you have
Thanks,
given
everybody.
hope. Thank you.
Yes.
You have given hope to parents
We
out
are
there. Yes,
thank
to
you.
youngsters, your voices have created hope in their life, and that is a big thing to give, especially when we're talking about education. We are investing in education because it is not just the birthright of any child, it is also their need to survive in the global market. So your panel today has truly, truly inspired many. We assure you of that. So thank you so much. And we are so humbled for having you with us. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you, Ms. Ruth. Thank you. By
Thank
the
you,
way, they're all
Sonia. Thank you.
Rotarians
Pleasure.
on this
Thank you.
panel. Nice. Thank you for your support, Rotarians. Thank you.
Could I say
Thank
a
you.
thank you
Thank you.
to Ken Mason for all he does behind the scenes?
Yes.
For
That's
sure.
amazing.
Thank you very much, Ken Mason.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank
Thank you
you.
too. Thank you.